Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, just outside of Milan, potentially. I've heard that it's outside. I think I've heard it's outside of Milan anyway. But yes, it is going to be a fast and frantic Grand Prix here tonight. And let's go through the drivers and the constructor standings then. Potentially, we could, and potentially, like it is outside, it could potentially be also a wet weather race as well. But I must say, I am freezing me socks off in the championship. Then it's very close in the constructors. But let's take a look at the drivers first. KD now leads and has got an over a Grand Prix win advantage, 28 points. Whatever happens here tonight in Monza, KD will still lead the World Drivers' Championship. Potstep 45 points adrift at around 17 points adrift of Tory is at too big now, potentially. Vesser, off the back of his first Grand Prix win of his career last time out on 111 points, 108 for reflection. Riley back getting some points in the last couple of races and looking on a very fine Vettel in sixth position. Knowlesy in 7th on 72 points. Junior on 53-51 for Camaro, and Styles completes the top 10 then, along with Smithfield Mighty Squad. Two drivers, remember, that have come up from bronze to silver this year. Done a really good job. And actually, another driver that's come up from bronze is Dynamo Dan on 23 points. Key on 22. Debo Croc on 14 really struggled since getting promoted to the Mercedes. Far for his best result of his career, best result of his season last time out there. And Farf is now at that relegation zone and now in 10th position. Mumford was about to start a 60th Grand Prix in silver tonight, but it's gone MIA by the looks of things. 6 points for Chlorine Pilot. Great drive last week and was my personal driver of the day. Sloth on 2, 1 for the Real Fig, and Farhad, who of course is in the full-time Williams seat, has dropped out, unfortunately. So is still going to be rooted to the bottom at the end of this one in the Constructors' Championship. This is a very interesting championship to look at. 181, 180, 100, 180. I'm getting darts stuck in my head now. Alpine leads the way by the slenderest of margin between the Haas and the McLaren. And once again, McLaren have not got a second driver, which is going to hang-strung them ever so slightly. The Haas team are going to be on full attack tonight, along with the Alpine team as well, I believe, then. So, yes, McLaren are going to be on the back foot then going into this one tonight there. And then we've got the Racing Bull on 121, 114 for the Ferrari. Of course, the home team then are going to be having the home support in Monza. Aston Martin on 94, 78 for the Mercedes car. Williams on 51, 38 for the Kick Sauber, and 25 for the Red Bull team, unfortunately. Oh, and I'm already done. Fantastic. We haven't even gotten to the lobby yet, but that's great stuff indeed. Oops, let me get my headset sorted. And then let's get on with the program, shall we? And of course, if Mushroom is trying to message me, he can't tonight because I put myself on Do Not Disturb. Gosh, I'm on fine battle this afternoon, and I. Well, what happened last night then? Well, not a lot, to be honest. Cam got it, not Cam. Cam's got his second Grand Prix win of his career, his first Grand Prix win of the season as well. I think there is a couple of racing incidents that has been reported between that Filippi has put in, which I think is between himself and Van Von. Of course, we heard in the interviews last night that Filippi was not too impressed, was he, with that scrap. Then is it did get a bit borderline, didn't it? I thought it was fine personally, but then again, I'm the kind of referee that's like play on then when sorry, I got to sort my mic out. I'm the kind of guy that says play on then when, of course, the tackles go flying in and all that kind of stuff. Good evening to you, Styles. Good luck, Silver. Very nice of you, Styles. I must admit, I would be. I am a guy that would not be wishing my competitors good luck, but that's because I'm not a very nice fellow. Lego Silver and Mr. Meek then. Temple of Speed, says Junior then. Good evening. I'm praying for rain, says Riley. Of course, we said last night that Riley is becoming a absolute rain revelation, isn't he? He's the second coming of Michael Schumacher, isn't he, in terms of wet weather prowess? It is in Leeds. It also is in the old Forest Dino, but my treehouse is Sprugger League. and because it's a bit windy as well, I might fall out of my tree. However, luckily for me, I think I've paid my electricity bill this week, so hopefully the stream won't be in 2 parts. Goodness gracious me, that's the pitfalls and perils of coming from the Forest of Dean and living up in a tree house there. Well, we did have a full grid up until about 5 minutes ago, I think, and now unfortunately we've got 2 substituted. I wouldn't say unfortunate because actually reserve drivers, like 2 or 3 reserve drivers, are not too bad. It gets annoying when there's about a quarter of the field that's not in, isn't it? And I think the McLaren team are going to be a bit being a bit miffed then with only KD racing and not Mumford, which might hang strong in the Constructors' Championship because McLaren are the defending Constructors' Champions from silver last season. Of course, remember remember last season as well, it was a very difficult Constructors' battle for McLaren, but towards the end they really got on at fine Vettel, didn't they? Towards the end there, but once again, like last season, this season McLaren are making it quite difficult, aren't they? As you can see, the sights and scenes of Italy. Then of course it's going to be Tifosi. Then it's going to be cheering on the Scarlet Ferraris, and of course Chlorine Pilot, who comes off the back of his best result of his career in silver last week, then, and hopefully really kind of kick on. Then I have no grip making their debut tonight as well. Of course, won his debut race in bronze last week. Then can he win his debut race and silver as well? Well, I cannot wait then. Goodness me. Seymour, hello to you, my good sir, then. Commentary guy for the win there. To be honest, I'm so happy that Seymour calls me a commentary guy, mainly because I've never been described as a guy. I've not really described as a man, to be fair, nor a guy. I don't know what I'm described as, to be honest. More like it or a thing. That's the perils of being a ginger guy, isn't it? I'm very much like, cousin it! And my goodness me, we got a rewind from last night because it is raining, like it was raining in qualifying last night. And is it the 4 wet tyres? I think it might be. It is indeed. Remember, Riley will be doing a bit of a jiggy, I think, in the Mercedes garage there because he wanted rain and he has certainly got it. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, but I think that Riley will be overjoyed with this, and I think that Riley could go for a pole position then. Has he got a pole position before, I hear you ask? Let's have a look, shall we? I don't think there's any milestones, apart from Mumford, who would have been on his 60th Grand Prix start. So I don't think there's any milestones like that then. Where is Riley, actually? Hang on. Let me get me reading glasses on. Yes, Riley has had a pole position before, of course, in the Japanese Grand Prix, Sean. Goodness me. How could I forget that? Shocking stuff indeed. I think it was last season, wasn't it, where Riley got a superb pole position in the Japanese Grand Prix, and it was a superb result indeed. I missed that race, didn't I, shockingly, because I was skiving. But even so, of course, can Riley do something similar tonight? And remember, did he get 10th finishing in gold last night? I've slept since then, so I do not know. But Riley is out on circuit, as Kiki has joined as well. Fantastic stuff indeed for Kiki, as I think he was working late, which is why he's coming in the session late as well. So yeah, so very similar to last night in terms of the wet weather conditions out there. And that means I'm wondering if the drivers may have learned a thing or two from. I've just had a bottle of Coke, so I'm full of gas and wind, which is nothing unusual. So I think that's why it's been so windy out in the UK today. Probably because I've been drinking too much caffeine and all fizzy Coke and all that kind of stuff. Riley out on circuit then, so I'm wondering if the drivers have learned anything from last night. The track doesn't feel as wet as it felt last night, though, does it? Because look, there's not much standing water out there, so I feel that the drivers may actually probably have an easier time, just about have an easier time then. But we're on board with Riley now then, and he is going to be my pick for pole position then, so apologies, Riley. He's going to be very unhappy with me because I put in the commentator's curse then. Hope Sean keeps his power plugged in tonight. Don't worry, I've got me hamsters fed. I've also made sure I've paid my electric bill as well tonight. Shocking stuff indeed. In my defence, I don't know what was going on down at the end of my road then, but there's a load of guys in yellow coats and looking very worried then. So I reckon that they've hit something there. Riley's coming to the pits and abandoning his time, which means a bit of tradition now from Silver, because Junior decides it's going to be first up man on the board then as we break into turn 1 and 2. Of course, the chicane was modified back in 2000 and what was it, or was it 2000? I think it was 2000, wasn't it? So someone can get out the old. Someone can remind me. I think it was 2000, wasn't it, where they got rid of the double chicanes at the start of the lap, and of course it was now a single chicane. Personally, I would rather the double chicanes, but there you go. I'm just an old man, and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I do prefer the older styles of circuit. Like I prefer the old Australian Grand Prix as well, personally. I feel that the new Australia is it's a bit more fast and flowing, but I'm just old. I don't like change. I'm like that old man, that goes where all these young'uns there with their slang and all that kind of stuff, and their new Motorola's. I'm still beside myself that we got a Motorola signage, sponsor signage on the circuit, because I didn't even know Motorola was still going. To be honest, it's the advert, isn't it? Hello, Moto. Because they used to sponsor the ITV films on a Saturday night. Then, goodness me. Right, out of the Parabolica or the Michele Alboreto curve, which we should address it now. And Jitter goes fast on the 13.169 there, my favourite number. So Jitter currently fast is at the moment there, of course. Jitter, I think, started off the season so well with that Grand Prix win, but it's kind of, it's been a bit disappointing for Jitter this season, hasn't it? But even so, Jitter's got a massive part to play in the outcome of the Constructors' Championship, and possibly even the Drivers' Championship as well. Potstuff, I think, is a bit too far behind well, no, he's not, is he? But I think Potstuff needs to start out scoring. He's in a similar predicament as Brabbitt, where Brabbitt is a bit beyond the 8 ball in gold as well between Medi and Flippy. So I feel that, I do feel that Potstuff, like Brabbitt, needs to start out scoring his 2 championship rivals then. We have got a shortened season. It's only a 17-round season this season. This is round 12 or round 11, something like that, in the Drivers' Championship. And currently all the drivers on the wet tyres are slower than Jinner on the intermediate tyres. So that, to me, would say that it is the intermediate tyres are the better way to go then. And Knowlesy does go fastest there, as Chlorine Pilot has gone off at the Delia Roger chicane, as has one of the Visa Racing Ball cash-ups, sponsored by all kinds of anarchy. KD is currently gone 4th from Mona. Bessia currently 3rd. That's last time out's race winner. Ruthless Venom 5th position Mona. Chlorine Pilot in the 2026 Ferrari, even though I think it's actually the 2025 Ferrari, as I was told last night. But does it look like the 26 Ferrari? It's Diva Croc there, losing it on the exit of the second Lesbo there, and luckily collected it together. Otherwise, he could have been having an early bath. Potentially already is having an early bath out there, because it is very wet there. Kiki on the intermediate tyres for the Fernando Alonso inspired crash. It goes 6 fastest there for the Aston Martin, but it's currently his teammate who is in front of it there. And I think that the bookies are probably a bit surprised that Knowlesy is in front of his teammate in terms of the head-to-head battle between himself and his teammate in the Aston Martin there. Of course, as across the line there goes Smithy. I think that a lot of the bookies did think that Knowlesy might be second in that head-to-head battle. I didn't know, because I know exactly what I'm talking about. Is on board with Potstuff. Reflections currently in 19th position. Oh no, Reflections. I thought Reflections on the circuit. He's not there. Here comes Potstuff across the line and fastest so far. Of course, one of the most intriguing battles, of course, was the Haas team, where I think it's very much a 50-50 split. Potstuff has had the advantage over Jinner, hasn't he, this season so far, as Potstuff does take the shortcut or the Super GT line. As Knowlesy then is going to go for another timed run now. Jinner is on his second time run. Then can Jinner, getting a bit snaky out of the Michele Alboreto curve. Coming out to the line now as a yellow flag, so we normally ignore yellow flags, and the Haas 1-2, and that is perfection for the American-based team. As it is a 1-2 then. They can control the race from the front there, albeit to last night's pole sitter, Sweet Crown. had a pretty disappointing race, to say the least, didn't he, unfortunately, for Sweet Crown, and dropped down to 8th in the end, didn't he? So pole position was not a happy time at all there. Look at how much time Riley's got, look at how much energy Riley's got in that battery and the telemetry down by his crash helmet. Riley's almost half a second out. That is in the ballpark of certainly getting into the top 2 rows of the grid then. Look at that dry racing line into McKay Alboreto turn, as these drivers are starting to really shift the water on the top of the circuit. And coming out of the McKay Alboreto turn now then, and Riley across the line and goes full fast as he's improved by a second and only a whisker away from pole position. But the times are going to be tumbling like a fruit machine. Last time we talked about Knowlesy, he was on pole position. He's down into 5th position now then, and Slough is made to 2nd there. Slough currently in the bottom 3, which as it stands at the moment will be racing in bronze next season if Slough doesn't get some points on the board. It's been a difficult season for the former gold race winner. Knowlesy, a 3-time gold race winner, goes 3rd fastest on this circle at the moment. Donovan Dunn has taken a shortcut there. Here comes Kiki on board now with the former race winner as well, and go through the Ascari chicane. Then this is Kiki's last competitive season in ALR for the foreseeable future, unfortunately for us there, but not unfortunately for Kiki, as of course he's got a life-changing experience coming up there, but I'm not going to say it because I don't think it has been made public yet. Evening, Crusty Pants. Good evening to you, Mushroom. Or is Mushroom talking about Knowlesy? 3rd fastest there, and it's now an all Aston Martin Row 2, which is real F1. They would absolutely be chomping at the bit for. Only one driver on the wet tyres now, and that's Chlorine Pilot there, who will be, I think, coming back in the pits. Now here comes Farf, Chlorine Pilot and Farf on the back of a really good competitive race last time out in Zandvoort, and are hoping for more of the same then for Farf and also for Chlorine Pilot as well. Camera Racing, of course, recovering as Riley has gone fastest then by 7/10 of a second in the Mercedes. Fantastic indeed. Mushroom making it rain just like the weather today. Tomorrow's races I come with an EA Sports setups brought myself. Sound like a wheel in all that, Real Ashton, is it? And if so, I think you should throw a picture in the paddock chat as well, because I would like to have a mooch. Albeit I've never had a steering wheel or anything like that, mainly because I can't fit in the chair. Last time I tried to go into an esports setup, unfortunately it collapsed and I got sued a lot of money. Out of the final turn, then luckily I don't own anything of value. Farf goes 8 fastest then, but just like saying that, Jenner has stolen Farf's thunder and also his slipstream as well. Even in these conditions, a slipstream is certainly helpful indeed, and Jenner goes pole position by 1/4 of a second there, as surely that is a disgraceful bill of driving there from Farf, and I think that he should be reprimanded there. Not Jenner, of course, because I didn't see what Jenner did there. Where from, realised it says that serious mushroom. Reflection then, of course, saying Grand Prix winner this season. Like Bessier, a first-time Grand Prix winner in silver. And I predict that next season in silver, we could be seeing those two go head-to-head. But I've never been right. It's Reflection's only 12 fastest there for the Bronze World Champion there. So disappointed indeed. KD, goodness me, unbeknownst to me, is all the way down in 14th position. Good heavens above that. The championship leader is in peril at the moment. The other McLaren driver is coming into the first of the 2 Lesbians now. And someone's just jumped up numerous positions there, but I wasn't looking. I have no grip. Has got a lot of grip. I'd say he's in 5th position at the moment there. I wonder if that's false advertising there for the Williams driver. KD, championship leader. He needs to bounce up, and that is much better. That's 3rd position for the American driver. Fantastic stuff indeed there for KD. Very much on it there like a car bonnet. Tory, who's in the first chicane now, down in 20th position, but it's not set time just yet. Debo Croc has found a lot of time in the second intermediate split time there. And now into the McKay Alboreto turn there, but he's almost out of deployment, unfortunately. Accelerating out now, and can Debo Croc then improve his position? Well, he can improve his time, and that's a much better time there for Debo Croc up into 11th position there. Styles has had a problem, and unfortunately is down to 11th position there. The real Fig has now been to 9th position there. We're just on board with Kiki. That's pole position for Kiki. Of course, remember, Kiki was the measuring stick of 1 lap pace there. He was like the Jarno Trulli of ALR a few seasons ago. He hasn't been on pole position for quite a numerous number of races there. But let's see if Kiki can stay there. But it's going to be about last man across the line, I feel. It's going to be like qualifying last night, where it's going to be very much on your toes there, isn't it? As the two Alpines there are, of course, fighting the Constructors' Championship, but down in 18th and 20th position there. So the French manufacturer has got to get this sorted then. Are they French manufacturers? I think this is Forge car brand. I do not know. And well, Tori's got a problem with the plot. He doesn't need it. No, he's on pole position there by 2/10 of a second from Kiki in second position. And at the moment, then it is a 1-0 to Tori in the battle for the World Championship between Katie and Tori then. But of course, Katie is back in the pits there, and I wonder if McLaren are going to think about fresh intermediate tyres. And is that going to be a pro or a con? Because if potentially having fresh intermediate tyres may help you, but it may hinder you as well. That is the dark art of tyre management in Formula 1 Grand Prix racing. Vessier then coming out the Ascara chicane. He has found half a second there. So that's the Fernando Alonso impersonator on the inside part of the circuit. Vessier now into the Michele Alboreto turn. Back end is trying to step out. My back end always steps out, especially when I get off the bus. Out of the final turn there for Vessier, and Vessier is into the pits there. Builds me up to let me down there. I think it's that song of it's Build Me Up Buttercup, isn't it? I have no grip then out of the Ascara chicane and currently in 11th position in the Williams team at the moment. On board so far, and as I've just seen, so realised to talk about the chase, so I'm gonna have to go to the chase because that's one of my favourite programs there. F125 in-game esports driver setups for Real Ash there. Cross the line there for the I have no grip in pole position. That is a mammoth flap there from the debutant. Goodness gracious me. A debutant in a Williams. I'm getting flashbacks from the 96 there with Jacques Villeneuve. I have no grip then. I'm not sure he's from Canada or not, but certainly he's on pole position then for the Italian Grand Prix. And that is some synchronised flag waving out there. We got soft tyres going on the car of Farf and Chlorine Pilot. Well, just I'll say that they changed their minds there. Ruthless Venom up to 5th position. Ruthless Venom is driving superbly well, and goodness me, I think Ruthless Venom will be hoping for these kind of conditions tomorrow night in bronze across the line. And oh my golly gosh, that is pole position there. I hadn't even finished my sentence, and Slop now comes in and knocks me to the side with another pole position lap there. We're into the 26.7s now. If it's a game of limbo, I would have lost yonks ago because I can't go as low as these drivers. Superb. What about the Haas driver across the line? And now it's Popstop on pole position there with just 2.5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Goodness gracious me. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. What am I looking at now? I'm trying to look at the next driver coming up to the finish like that, which I think is Styles. Styles has abandoned his time and is going to go around again now. Now we got to Smithy, half a second in the second intermediate split time now. And we're on board now as Jenner has gone on the front row of the grid then. It's an all Haas row two. It's all Haas front row of the grid then. What about the Alpine across the line now? And that is Tori up to 5th position, I feel, as Favre has gone out on dry tyres. I think that's a mistake there, and even if the rain stops now, there's too many pedals for the slick compound tyres, I feel. Maybe in the groove tyre here, that might be a very much a curveball. And now it's an all Alpine row 3. Smith Almighty has joined his teammate there on row 3. Well, no, he hasn't, because Reflections has moved us over to 6th. Make that 7th now, as Camera Racers now into 4th position. My goodness and gracious me, that Rufus Venom is into the pits there, and look at how light the rain is now. Maybe Farf is onto something here. I have no grip then, coming into the middle part of the lap now. It's on board with I have no grip. And I'm just keeping an eye on the start-finish line. All the drivers that are coming across the line now can finish their laps, of course. Yellow flag in the second in the Della Roger chicane. Aston Martin now just coming to finish their lap now. Then which Aston Martin is that there? I'm not sure who it is, but they're just starting their lap now. I have no grip. Could be their final lap. I think it is their final lap. They will not have time for another run then. As we're on board with I have no grip, and this is going to be a quickest lap. I think that it is a quickest lap. There's a 26-2, a tenth of a second in front of Pot Stuff. Incredible stuff indeed then. So now I think that this is going to be last driver across the line in this one. And this is going to get very interesting indeed then. McLaren across the line as well. Then I'm just keeping an eye to see who's doing what then, because I have no idea what I'm talking about now because I am so at sea. I don't really know who's on what. Here comes Farf then. Farf is the only driver that has rolled the dice and gone onto soft tyres. It's a 7/10 down. He was close actually. That's a lot closer than what I thought it'd be, but unfortunately Farf he's going to get in the way of that Red Bull there. I don't know which Red Bull is that. Is that Sloth? It is Sloth, but Farf is giving Sloth a cheeky little slipstream there. Oh goodness, that's the advantage of having sister teams on the grid there. As the real thing has moved itself into 12th finish there. Once again, the King Salvers are sharing the same road. The goodness me, they're always together. Sloth pole position there for the Red Bull driver then with no time left on the Poststuff is on pole position there. My goodness gracious me. Incredible stuff. Poststuff on pole position. Then Knowlesy gets himself onto the second row of the grid. Incredible stuff. And Riley then is now up to the second row of the grid. What about that second Haas car of Jinner? Jinner only 6 fast in the end there for the second Haas. I wonder if Jinner would be thinking, would be disappointed that KD is on it, gets on, is coming in then, so KD is down in 7th position, and Tory, no, it's not Tory, it's Riley. No, Tory's off the circuit, he's down in 11th. It's the championship protagonists have had a major banana peel on the circuit. And Tory's at the pits there. Stiles has abandoned his time there, so it's Potstuff on pole position then for the Italian Grand Prix. And what number pole position is that, I hear you ask then? It is pole position number 4 of Potstuff's career. And magnificent stuff indeed. And in terms of his season tally, that is his second pole position. And his second one in 3 races after his pole position in the Hungaroring as well. Magnificent stuff indeed for himself and the Haas team. Mega stuff indeed. Where am I? Jinner is murdered then. I want to see some fighting tonight, Beaches. Softs won't work, says Serious Russia. He does have grip then. Correct, you move a step closer to have. Sorry, too much chase, ITV chase then. I haven't watched ITV chase in such a long time. Is the Beast still there? What's his name? Mark, isn't it? I'm not sure, but of course we got no formation lap then. Bravo, Potstuff says hammer time. Absolutely. No formation lap then. Unfortunately, it's annoying for the commentators, but I think more importantly, as long as it's good for the drivers, then that's all it is. But it really annoys me. Goodness me, but a lot of things annoy me. ALR only with the green tick. Potstuff published by 10th second with Besser alongside. Sloth and Riley in on the second row. Knowlesy and I have no grip 5th and 6th. Once again, I have no grip looking strong. During KD is 7th and 8th. KD then the championship leader down in 8th in the carbon fiber zone. Cameron Ruthless Venom. What a performance from Venom there. Then we've got Devo Croc. Tory, the championship protagonist down in 12th. Reflection, Smithy, Styles, Chlorine Pilot, the real thing, Dynamite Dan, Kiki, and Farf bringing up the rear in at 20th position now. Mark, I can't read his last name, but it is Mark. Fantastic stuff indeed. As you can tell, I'm a big old fanboy of the Chase. And I haven't watched the Chase in Young, to be fair. Sadly, it's on right at the time I'm coming home from work. Then, so unfortunately, it's something that I cannot divulge. Then, and also as well, I have YouTube now. If Alex Turner BMNs, we'll have one race in each division, says Equel. How's the evening, Charles? Good luck, Silver and Stars doing a Marski, leaving his my continent, says Serious Russia. To be honest, I haven't said that. I wasn't even in a party one time. As I forgot. Well, it was last week actually, wasn't it? Where I got disconnected. And I forgot to go back into the party. So I was wondering why none of the drivers wanted to speak to me. It's because I wasn't even in a party. Shocking stuff, indeed. Then, right. Let me get rid of all these notifications then, and we'll get on to the race in just a jiffy. But once again, like last night, rain in qualifying and then dry in the race, and very similar to the 2017 Italian Grand Prix. Didn't Stroll got third, didn't he, in that event as well? Because I think Hamilton got pole. Who was second? I can't remember who was second, but then it's Stroll in third. Was Stroll on the front row in his Williams car? Goodness me, I can't remember that. But yeah, it was a very wet qualified session, and then it was a dry race, if I remember rightly. I remember Grosjean spinning off just before the first chicane now, and then getting very unhappy then in saying that the qualifying session should not have been started. Personally, though, I was like, yeah, let's get it going, and goodness me, the throttle works both ways, as Martin Brundle says. Goodness me. I'm trying to be quiet for this bit. Oh, and there we are then, because here are the lights then. We have 4 lights. It's a long run down into turn 1. Pots up on pole. Vesser alongside on row 1. It's lights out, and it's go, go, go for the Italian Grand Prix. And there's a Williams already going a bit wayward before he even got to turn 1 there. And Potstuff has defended his pole position absolutely splendidly well then. It's 2 points then, because that McLaren is off the circuit. There's more Barnes in it. Barnes and Ginner's off the circle as well. KD, the champion leader, is down at the back of the field. It's a terrible start by the championship leader. Katie's all the way down at the back of the field. Jenner's down the back of the field as well. And that is heartbreak for Dallas. Heartbreak. And Tori now on the outside of Nosey. And Tori's up to 6 minutes. This is important now for Tori to make hay whilst the sun is shining. And literally and figuratively, it is sun shining for Tori. As we mentioned then, of course, there, as we mentioned, we was talking about how Tori needs to outscore Katie starting. Whatever happens, KD will not lose the championship lead, but this is a horror show start in the Italian Grand Prix. Do you do GT racing? No, says Serious Russian. No, we don't. We used to do Gran Turismo, but we didn't get many. We did get many drivers wanting to do it, and also as well, I think wasn't the spectator menu not very good as well from when Knowles was commentating. On board with the championship leader, KD, as we go down to the Michele Alboreto turn, and goodness me, the real thing then going into the back of Ginner, and KD is now up into a 19th position there, and Ginner's Potstuff's already got a DRS advantage. Not quite, though, as soon as we go down into turn 1. Riley in 4th position. 5th is No Grip. 6th position is Tori. Knowlesy, followed by Camero, followed by Reflections, followed by Brenner. Whoa, is that Farf once again used his launch control and going up 9 positions. Fantastic stuff indeed there for Farf. I must admit, Farf is always always steams off the line, doesn't he? Goodness gracious me. I do think he's got that Renault launch control from 2003, you know. Oh, love that shot then. But Potstuff leads. He's already out of DRS range. Goodness me, that's a big statement of intent. Hard tires for Reflections there. Hard tires for Farf as well. Farf has passed Reflections, moving himself into 10th position and in the top 10 now, obviously, because he's in 10th. Key on the hard tires there. And what's happened there? There's something gone wrong. Something's gone missing. There's contact, and oh no! And Glory Pilot and Demo Croc have come together in between the two Lesbos there. And unfortunately, dropping down the order, Smithy has gone past the McLaren driver for Venom. He has indeed. Great manoeuvre. Ginner's down in 15th position. Also, KD is up to 17th as well, lap 2. I do feel, though, that it's going to be a tough old race from here on in, unfortunately. Fly, my pretties, fly. That's off, isn't that off the Wizard of Oz there? I must admit, Mushroom, you do remind me of that witch. Oh, Vessier is flying through, and I've got heartburn. Vessier is flying through and takes 2nd position. Look at the slipstream in that. And now we've got Riley in 3rd position there. And then we got Sloth down into 4th. Sloth this season is not at the pace, has he? And he's starting to drop down the order. Remember, though, Sweet Crown also dropped down the order when he was on pole position last night. At the moment, though, our pole sitter from tonight, as Potstuff, is absolutely gone. He's gone with the win there. Ride like the wind, bullseye. Incredible stuff indeed. Down into the Deli Rogers chicane with Potstuff, Vestier, followed by Slop. Then it's starting to become a conga line now between these parts. Well, no, but Le Mans Ultimate would be great. Maybe come back at the end of the year when on console. Yes, if Le Mans Ultimate is on console, absolutely, because I love to do a bit of Le Mans Ultimate. That's certainly something that I am keeping my eye on. I say that, I completely forgot it was coming on console. I completely forgot he was even a game at one stage as well. Incredible stuff indeed. Not the start Katie needs, but let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. Remember, Van Bol also did a great job as well last night. I have no grip then all over the back of Sloth at the moment there. No dice though into the non-DRS straight, going into the Michele Alboreto turn. But I have no grip. Has plenty of grip there, coming out of the Michele Alboreto turn as well. And now getting a bit of a now he's got DRS. Now he's free. through and up to fifth position there as Riley is through, passes the Pink Panther then as Kiki has set the fastest up for the race then, and now Riley through as it's getting very heated down into the first chicane now as it's all status quo then. There is Jinner all over the back of Styles, and then we got Kiki. Oh gosh, there as KD on the outside of the real thing there. Back in this battle here then because Tori's down with a fifth position, passes Sloth. Unfortunately, Sloth is dropping like a stone here as Knowlesy also described my performance in Australia as I only remember that because I was doing a YouTube short today in Australia. Their reflection up into 8th position there. Camero down inside. Remember, Camero is recovering after spending last week in hospital, and it's great to see Camero on circuit there. A better man than me because I would not be racing for the next couple of years. Incredible stuff indeed then. Favre in 10th position there. Of course, remember, Favre is doing the similar to Van Voren, as Ekwell said there. Interesting stuff indeed there. It's Woods V12 here. Don't like any F1 games since EA took over. Prefer GT now. Oh, great to see you, Woods. And of course, Woods, a former driver in gold, I believe. There, I'm sure we'll still a couple of races in silver as well. So great to see you along there. Yeah, I must admit, I do agree with you. I don't think the games on F1 games have been great since EA took over. Bring back Codemasters. What has happened there? And goodness me, and the stars is all over the show. And I'm not sure if they were just coming into one there, but Styles then is recovering now. Kiki's recovering as well. Let's have a look then. I think the Stars went wide there, and I can't see because of the tower. I reckon that I'm not sure if they frightened each other off the road there. If there was contact out the Michele Alboreto curve, but not ideal at all, unfortunately, which is such a shame. Well, what's with the hearts making up loads of places, says Halsey. Last night, Van Voren did a great job in the hard tyres. Going for the alternative strategy is very unusual on this game because the hard tyres, normally the alternative strategy is not great, and it's usually the medium to the hards the best way to go. But in Italy last night, the Grand Prix winner went from the hard to the medium tyre, so interesting strategy indeed. Sloth is a legend though, says Halsey. Absolutely. Unfortunate for Sloth, he is dropping down a few positions at the moment. Should never get in between two Lesbians there. Good evening to Langston. Hello to you, my good. Oh no! What has happened there? It is Styles there. It doesn't rain bullet pulls for the kick salver driver. Unfortunately, trying to recover, but not ideal at the moment. Where am I looking? I'm looking at Reflections, who is very much keeping tabs on the rear of Favre's car now. Goodness me, then. And, I must admit, I would treat that back of Favre's car like the hind legs of a donkey. Here comes Favre now. Nope, it's Reflections up into 9th position. Favre down into 10th. More problems at the Ascara chicane for the kick salver, and I think it's the kick salver of Styles, unfortunately there, who's probably got overheated tyres there, which is really struggling on. And now Favre is going to be under the cosh now from fellow admin of Smithy Almighty. Oh goodness me, it's an all admin fight here. So we're going into the Daniel Rogers chicane there. Oh, you made me blush, like said Halsey. He's talking to me, Mushroom. Absolutely. You're all goats in the Oda chat, and you certainly are indeed then. Most of the time, anyway. I'm not sure what Mushroom is, but there we go. So we come down into the where are we? I don't know where we are. We're in the Ascara chicane. That's where we are. My goodness, gracious me. He eats like one. How dare you, Mushroom? To be honest, I take that offensively as well because I don't eat grass. Actually, what does goats eat? Do they just eat grass? If goats eat other things apart from grass, then I certainly am a goat. Then I'm very much more of a pig, though. I'm a bottomless bin, basically. Goodness gracious me! Out of the final turn then, and coming on the start finish straight now. Potsdam's got a 2-second lead so far over Riley. When we got Vestia, then we got No Grip, followed by Tori. Tori's getting out of the slipstream there, but Sloth has been dropped here, unfortunately. Now we got Knowlesy, Camera Racer, Reflection. Favre is struggling at this stage of the race as well, unfortunately. And look at that, KD then. This just shows the ground effect here, unfortunately, is so difficult to get through the field then. And KD is Chlorine Pilot then. It's got a 3-second penalty. KD, of course, the championship leader, has been head and shoulders in terms of the performance this season. It's been absolutely peak performance there for KD, but he's struggling in 16th position. He has been the pace setter this season, but down in 16th position there. It is mission critical now then. And just flying out of the second at Letzmo as well then. So as we go down into the old banking then, of course, where Monza used to be a bit of a crisscross circuit, didn't there? To be honest, I would love to do. I'd love to have a F1 game where you could have older circuits and like at the old, like the very old bank in Monza on this game. Wouldn't that be quite funny? It'd also be quite cool as well. Sadly for, oh gosh, that is a big crash in the background. It is the second McLaren of Ruthless Venom off the circuit. I must admit, I thought I said a Ferrari going there, but it was the Papaya McLaren and going off and into the barrier. Unfortunately, into the pits comes Sloth after only 6 laps. Last night, tyre wear was a lot higher than what I was expecting it to be honest. As the drivers pitted around lap 10, 11, I think, and of course the tyre wear is about 80%, which was quite high indeed there. So of course the driver's going to have to be concerned about that. Whether Sloth can be a bit of a tyre tinkler and keep it till the end of the race. And Camera Racer has lost out to Reflection, who's now moved himself up to 7th position, I believe. So Reflection in 7th, Camera down to 8th, and Camera of course also getting penalties as well. Farf is sniffing then, he's all over the gearbox now of Camera Racer, and Farf will love to get past the Williams driver as he has got the better race tyre now, I presume anyway. Jenner's made his way back into 11th position there. So whilst KD is still struggling down in 17th position there, KD has come into the pits and is going for a very similar tyre strategy compared to Sloth as well. Farfare getting his way, getting through there, but goodness me, not giving Camera Racer any room there. But there we go. I don't expect anything less from Farfare because he's a brutal man, isn't he? But goodness me, he makes everyone very entertaining, doesn't he? To be honest, he's our answer to Pasta Maldonado, isn't he? Farfare, Smithfield Mighty now out of the Michele Alboreto turn. Junior has made its way to 17th position there. Knowles in the pits there. Junior now looking past to make sure where Camera Racer is through, and look at the situation as well. Because here comes Smithy. Farf is really trying to harvest, but Smithy is through, passes Farf, and up is Jenner going to go to the back of Farf. Goodness me, I didn't think Jenner was going to slow down there, and there is a bit of contact at the exit. Oh, heavens above. Getting very dicey out there, isn't it? And I think that Jenner has been wrong-footed, and Camera Racer with old tyres, can he get through? Not quite then, as he has just drawn back, unfortunately, on the medium tyres. Styles there, unfortunately, 2 spins, and now a 10-second penalty. I don't think we had any 10-second penalties last night, which is really impressive indeed. So, let's take stock. KD's come into the pits. He's down in 16th position is KD. Dynamo Dan in the pits. Knowlesy has come in the pits as well, as has Slothfed. Sloth is the highest runner that has come in the pits, down in 13th position. He is going to be following Kiki, who's 2 seconds up the road from himself at the moment. So that is the state of play. So KD has come in the pits and is going for a massive undercut. Massive undercut. That's the extent of my language tonight. So he's going for a huge undercut, is KD. However, the tyre wear, I think, is going to come back to bite the McLaren driver later on in this race. Potstop's gap is now up to 3 seconds there. Potstop is enjoying himself out there in the Italian Grand Prix at the moment. And then behind him, it's anyone's ball game, isn't it? And here comes one driver who's certainly going to be in form. As Jenner, he's usually a very quick man on the straight. Now this is going to be double trouble. And he's going for it. My goodness me, I thought he was going to go to the back of Favre. And goodness gracious me, he was wrong-footed, I think. Now, I'm thinking that Jenner didn't realise the closing speed between himself and Favre and had to get out of the throttle. And goodness gracious me, not far, between himself and Smithy. And I think he had to get out of the throttle there, and goodness me, otherwise I think he could have got both drivers there. So Jenner there, unfortunately losing crucial bit of time at this stage of the race there. Lap 10 out of 27, goodness me, time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it? I forgot to say we jump rope again though, so I'm going to have sweaty boobs again. Goodness me. Potstuff leads 3.5 seconds. Riley second. Third is Vessia. Ruthless Venom then dropped behind Devo Croc then, as Devo Croc in 17th position at this moment in time then. So, where are we then? So, currently, Sloth is coming to the back now of Kiki. Sloth is the highest runner who's coming to the pits. And then we've got Knowlesy, Dynamo Dan, and KD. KD having issues on the opening lap then. Of course, if you just joined us then, a regular silver viewer of the season and wondering what's happened to the championship protagonist. A wet qualifying session. It cost Tory down into 12th position. And also, as well as... Vessier's got a 10-second penalty, not stop and go short, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. lane. Jinner's now going to make that move stick on himself and Smithy Almighty. Jinner now up into 4th position there. Yellow flag in the background, and Chlorine Pilot in Ferrari's backyard is having a nightmare race after a superb race last week. Tory leads. Second is I Have No Grip with Reflections in 3rd position there, as we got drivers coming out of the pits there. Sloth is not coming out of the pits there. That's why he ain't going to get a penalty there for crossing the white line. Riley, followed by Vessier. Vessier, that 10-second penalty is going to be painful. Then we got Nosey, Dynamo Dan. Then we got Katie. Oh, locking up both tyres as the championship leader. Oh dear, then this is going to be a lot of points that Katie's going to lose at this stage here. It'd be interesting to hear what Katie makes of the turn 1 shenanigans there. And now Tory is going to have to get the fence there, because I Have No Grip certainly has a lot of grip at this stage, isn't it? Of course, I Have No Grip. One is Davy Racing Bronze, and can he go 2 for 2? Oh, Chlorine Pilot, another driver, a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. That's 3 for 3 now, unfortunately. Well, look at Jinner then. Of course, Jinner is also at the back of the field as well, but Jinner has made a lot of headway in this race. Jinner is usually got a car that is very much more suited to the race, isn't it? Because he does have so much speed. Into the pits now comes Tory. I Have No Grip takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. And now he's got Reflections, who has not pitted yet because he's on the alternative strategy, who is the highest hard runner as well. Jinner in 4th position, and 4th is, oh, that's a lock up there from Reflection. 4th is Smithy, 4th in 5th position. Chlorine Pilot has left the session, unfortunately. I got to remember then that he's out of the race then, so hopefully his car will retire, but I don't think he will. So so Chlorine Pilot, so there's his car in front of us here. Pot Stuff is the de facto leader when everyone pits now. Sloth on the fighting with Key here, as Sloth is past Key. We also, I think we're on board now with Riley. Key is going to go on the outside into Curva Grande. Goodness me, I thought that was going to be a humongous smash there. Very close indeed there. And now Riley going to steam on the inside to the Daniel Rodgers chicane. Contact with the Aston Martin. Almost one between Hamilton and Massa in 2010-ish or maybe 11. Or was it Alonso? I do not know. Vessier is going to have to really throw caution to the wind now after getting a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. And Vessier, great manoeuvre on the inside of the second Lesbo. Great stuff indeed. But the Aston Martin of Kiki is causing absolute anarchy here, isn't he? He's on the alternative strategy as Kiki, so it's his prerogative to stay out or not. So no qualms about that. And Riley and Vessier are going to be very much renewing hostilities. I Have No Grip is coming to the pits. Knowlesy is also through as well. And I wonder if his teammate now may start to become a mobile chicane then for Tory. Tory pitted on the last lap, so Tory is now also in the, well, he's in this part of the crocodile now then, so he's behind Knowlesy, behind Riley as well. Pot Stuff is up to second. I thought he was in the pits then. On board now with Tory then, as Tory is hoping to get past Kiki before the end of this start-finish straight, and indeed he does. Now to a 10th position there is Tory. Knowlesy in 9th position then, and he's right on the gearbox of Vessier and Riley, who had an almighty scrap then. Sloth, who's been on those hard tyres the longest then in terms of drivers that have pitted. Anyway, he's done 5 laps on these hard tyres. There's Pot Stuff. He's gained a second in these last fracas of the Grand Prix. And Pot Stuff is driving superbly well. They're not putting a wheel wrong so far, but we're only just at half distance at this very fast and frantic Italian Grand Prix. Styles has got past Devo Croc, and his next target up the road is Styles has actually got a 10-second penalty for cutting the corner. So unfortunately for Styles, then it's just like a snowball effect out there, even though there's no snow, because it's such a beautiful day here in Monza. Vessier having a sniff, and Riley's got past Vessier, unbeknownst to me, because I was chatting absolute absolute rubbish. Goodness me, keep it PG, Sean. Down to the McKay relay Alboreto turn once again. Donovan Dan having a stiff Key, but no dice then into the McKay Alboreto curve. So then the hard runners are going to extend for another couple of laps, I assume, as Torres set the fast lap race, and that is a bonus point fast lap as well, of course. It doesn't matter where you finish, you still get that fast lap bonus point, because unlike Formula E, ALR F1 drivers know how to behave. So we're on board now with Vestier through in and past Slothben. Unfortunately for Slothben, those 3-lap outer hard tyres are starting to be painful now. Chlorine's car has gone soft. Talk about rubbing it in its nose. Absolutely, it's brutal for Chlorine Pilot after such a great race last time out. Oh, it's a Vestier. No, he hasn't. He's all right. That's a bit of a desync now potentially. I thought Vestier was going into the gravel, so I'm not sure if Vestier just had a bit of an unstable connection, which is not helpful either. Knowles has lost an abundance amount of time somewhere. I don't know where, as I have no grip. Has got past KD, as no KD now down in 12th position. I don't know what it's in there, but I don't think it was an overtake. Here is an overtake. Dynamo Dan is parked in the middle of the centre, in the middle of the circuit, so no grip is going to have to wait then until the start-finish strike potentially. Might have a run down to the Parabolica or the McKady Alboreto curve. Oh, bus outside, fantastic. I love the bus. Reflections lead 3.5 seconds. Ginner in second, then Sloth in third position. Vestier running slightly wide there, and the Sloth Bear is going to hopefully use as much deployment as he can. Another penalty out there. Lack of penalties last one was pretty impressive. Tonight there are a lot of penalties like that, but this is what I was expecting, to be fair, because this circuit is very much a penalty central. No grip is now into 10th position. Dynamo down to 11. KD is in at 12th position, but I must admit it is not looking good for the championship leader. Farf is on medium tyres, and so Farf is going for an enormous undercut here. So Farf is the first of the drivers that started on the hard tyres to come into the pits there. Tory up the inside, but Slothbear not yielding, is he, on the championship protagonist? As a Vestier, I think, is I'm not sure if he's just trying to antagonise Riley there, and he certainly is giving it a go, though, isn't he? Tory, unfortunately for Tory and his fans, they're unable to get past, but Sloth is not out there to make up the numbers, and Sloth is going to fight tooth and nail. And this is a good result for Slothbeck. Can he keep the Tory, the Alpine driver, at bay? Well, we certainly hope so, because it'll be a great result for Slothbeck. I'm trying to keep the. I am neutral, but of course, when drivers who have had a bad season and are in the top 10, I always keep my fingers crossed there, unless it's false. So the top 3 are still not pitted then. Potstuff has got a lovely advantage as well, 6 seconds to himself and Smithy. So he isn't going to be held up by the top 3. And he's now got a 5-second gap then between himself, as I have no grip. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He is flying out there now, isn't he? I have no grip. Vestier homing back in then as Tory trying to go on the outside of Sloth. But Sloth parks it splendidly well on the outside. Tory's going to go up and under. And as Crofty says, the old switcheroo. And Tory is now in 10th position. Great manoeuvre there. That's great racing pedigree by both drivers there, and great racing from Tory as well. He positioned the car splendidly well for Sloth, and now Sloth is down into 8th position there. Next on the Sloth's list potentially is Knowlesy and no grip then. Ruthless Venom has dropped down a couple of positions there, or has he? He has done, as we got Kiki, Stars and Venom now, all fine for 16, 17, 18. Venom had a great qualifying. Race trim not as fruitful, but even so, I think Ruthless Venom now stepping in the last minute for the McLaren team. Just to have a second McLaren on the grid is absolutely splendid. 17. Oh, I'm sorry, Sloth, we caught you red-handed there on the curb, and unfortunately, 3-second penalty. I have no grip. It's now catching on at Knowlesy. Into the pits, there comes the race leader of Reflection. So, of course, having anything more than a one stop around here is so painful, because the amount of time that you lose in the pit lane, because you're basically full throttle for most of the lap, then it is not wise to have more than a one stopper around here, he says. Here comes no grip then. He's going to have a look at Knowlesy. Knowlesy is doing some harvesting of his own right there. I don't think Knowlesy's a fireman, but he's certainly trying to get some battery deployment back in the Aston Martin, which is very much a magical bullet for the real Aston Martin in real life, because they're struggling with batteries and getting the deployment to work. Grip on to 6. Knowlesy down to 7th. 8th position is Dynamo Dan. KD has broken into the points there, but he has now got the attention of Camera Racer in the battle for 9th and 10th position. And unfortunately for KD and Camera Racer, they've got Reflections, Farf, Ginner and Smithy all on medium tyres there, going to the end of the race then, and they're going to be quite quick as well at this stage. So that is going to so KD potentially could be on the. It's not going to be scoring any points then, unless there is a major curveball that comes into this one in the last stage of the Grand Prix. as Riley has found half a second somewhere. Well, he did do actually, but I think that the gap is gone back up to 5 seconds. But I looked up briefly, and the gap was well under, was 4.8, 4.7 seconds. But Potstuff then is extending his gap once again. The gap is now 5.5 seconds. Potstuff has basically dominated this race so far. He ain't gonna get the Grand Slam because he hasn't led every lap there. Sloth back him into a superb fifth finish there, but here comes No Grip on his debut in silver, now up into fourth. Fantastic there from the Williams driver, and we have got another superstar in ALR, haven't we? Certainly the future is looking bright for No Grip. Sadly, he's not in the orange hours from 2000, because that would have been a beautiful segue, wouldn't it? And who's that? And that's Sloth off the circuit. Oh goodness me! And unfortunately for Sloth, then dropping behind his teammate, and I'm wondering if the hard tires are starting to fall off already. They've only done 10 laps though, but this has been a very fast and frantic race out. Sloth all over the gearbox of Knowlesy, as he would like to get past Knowlesy, but unfortunately for Sloth, Knowlesy is going to be the roadblock, and I'm wondering if Sloth is getting a bit angry now as well after that mistake. Tori is going to be well aware of how quick No Grip is behind there, and No Grip then of course could potentially remove Tori from getting more points in this race set. Reflection is through, passes KD going into the Ascari chicane, and up into 10th position there. Vessier has now that's interesting. I'm wondering, we only seen the end of that. I think that Vessier is either harvesting and trying to get some DRS there to not to maybe stick behind Tori, get in the slipstream, and maybe rocket past Riley potentially then. But let's see then, as Riley, of course, Vessier, the newest Grand Prix winner in ALR, won the race last week in, where was we? In Zandvoort. So Tori having a look there, no dice run. I think the highest that Tori can go tonight is second position, and that will mean 18 points then, which really reduces the arrears quite substantially between himself and between KD as well, who is currently in 10th position, but only 1 point for the championship leader. And this and there's a lot of potential banana skins on the road to the World Championship. And at the moment, KD has slipped on one here in Italy tonight, unfortunately. Farf's medium tyres are starting to look past their sell-by date, as Farf is dropping down into 13th position now. Back on board with Tori, with Vessier behind now in 4th position. And I have No Grip currently in 4th position. What a performance here from the debutant. Great stuff indeed. So Sloth has gone for a two-stopper. So he's gone medium, he went to harder, now he's back to medium then. So two-stopper for Sloth. He has a penalty as well, but I'm wondering if he served that penalty. Did he have a 10-second penalty? I'll have a look at it in a minute. But either way, Sloth, I think that's a bit of a that's an uphill struggle now, I think, for Sloth to get any points from here on in, which is such a shame now for Sloth. But big on the positive, Sloth has certainly lost none of his speed, has he? Great qualifying, and then a very good race indeed then. And Tori on the inside of Riley, then going up the inside. Tori ran out of the power, I think, now. And goodness me, locking wheels, and that's not ideal. And Vessier is through him back past, and up to 4th position. And now No Grip is also going to be in the facility as well. And goodness me, I'm wondering if Tori was expecting more room there from Riley, but absolutely no dice here. Jenner has passed and KD and moved himself into 10th position. KD down to 11th, but as it stands, he might be able to salvage a point or two, depending on the penalty situations further up the field then. But as it stands then, it is not looking good for the championship leader. Oh, that is a shame. So Potstuff with 7-8 laps to go as we've got more moving on the straight there from Vessier. But I think that of course he's not in the braking point there. So Vessier is not doing anything wrong there. Knowlesy unfortunately the latest in the Hall of Shame. He has got a 3-second penalty for his troubles, and at the moment that is going to cost Knowlesy a few positions there. Maybe a couple actually, because we've also got Jinner, who is on the medium tyre as well. It's going to be a threat for Knowlesy in the not too distant future. Tori's that last lap for Tori could be costly now. Goodness me, because he's lost out. He tried to take Riley, he lost out to Vessier, and now he's struggling. It's to keep No Grip behind the man. Look at the gap though between Dynamo Dan. Once again, Dynamo Dan doing a great job in a 6th position there. Of course, I think he's only had a handful of races this season where he's really struggled and looked off the ball. But Dynamo Dan's been superb this season. Of course, the bronze drivers that have come into silver this season, hats off to them. because they've all been superb, haven't they? They really have indeed. Favre is very early into the pits on the soft tyres, going for fast lap is Favre. I don't think those tyres are going to get to the end, so I think Favre may have to do another box and stop before the end of this one. Maybe a splash and dash. Tory's getting ragged now, and my word there, this is a day for Tory to really strike whilst the iron's hot, but all of a sudden, Tory is now going to get very defensive for I have no grip, because he's losing out then to the battle between Riley and Vester. Of course, Vester does have a 10-second penalty, and I think that Vester at the moment there is going to drop a lot of position there, because they're all Constantinaed up behind there, because there's Donovan down in the background. Look at that, we've got the Aston Martin, then we got the Ferrari, then we got Jenner, then we got Camera Racer as well, followed by the championship leader KD, followed by Smithy Almighty. Those are a lot of positions that Vester is going to lose at this one. And well, Tory's scrappy lap then might pay dividends in this one, as Reflections pass Knowlesy. Here comes Tory on the outside. Vester's going to stick on the inside there. Tory cannot afford any shenanigans on the side of Vester. Of course, Vester's not finding the championship, is he? But so Vester's not got a lot to lose, but Tory's got a lot to lose in this one. And unfortunately, he's not made it stick, has he? And I wonder if he's out of battery deployment as well, as he's all over the gearbox now. The racing bull, he's going to go down into the Dalla Roger chicane. No dice then. It's a very much a pinch point in the Dalla Roger chicane, is there? So as it stands then, they're all status quo. Riley's doing a great job of managing this gap. Fantastic stuff indeed there. Camera Racer unfortunately getting a 3-second penalty. Reflection 7th, Generate Camera 9th. Where's Knowlesy? He's dropped all the way down to 14th position. Knowlesy's in the pits on soft tyres there. So did Knowlesy have a slow puncture or something gone a little wrong for the Aston Martin driver? Into the Ascari chicane once again there. And once again, Riley is managing this superbly well. But once again, because Tory hasn't got past Vestier, I feel that is going to be painful. Because look, here comes no grip then, and he's going for it then. No DRS down this back straight for the Williams driver. Not quite though, as no grip there. May try and slingshot out of the Alboreto curve and then have a shot down into turn 1. Whilst they're all fighting, Potsdam is still in the lead in this Grand Prix, 7 seconds up the road. Here comes no grip then, and he is gaining minutely, isn't he? And he's going to have a look there. Is he going for it? Not quite, he's too far back. But I think that these drivers should be concerned, or at least keep their eye on the bronze world champion from last season, which is Reflections up into 6th position. He has now got past Donovan down, and there's Jenner only a 1.5 seconds away as well. No grip then, going through Curva Grande, but no dice then. And I think if they keep fighting up the road then, Reflection could potentially catch and pass them both. It's the Van Bond strategy from last night in gold. At the moment is looking very good indeed there for the bronze champion, but of course, whether he can stretch those medium tyres to the end or not, they still got to go another 4 laps in this Italian Grand Prix, which normally is not a tyre killer. But having said that, in this season and last season, tyres have certainly been a premium around this circuit. Oh, good lord. Smithy Almighty all over the back of the championship leader, KD. Then KD keeps getting back in the top 10, but unfortunately the medium runners are now starting to stream by him. The question for KD is if he's got any more meat left on those tyres, then he might be able to get back past the medium runners if the medium runners start to struggle then. But I must say that that does feel that it's not looking likely at the moment. But of course, anything can happen in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does, as the great Murray Walker used to say on the BBC on ITV broadcast there. Goodness me, back in my childhood, fantastic. Katie's had enough, unfortunately, so he has come into the pits then, and is going to, I wonder if he's going to throw on the set of soft tyres, go for fast lap, or maybe see if he can inherit a few points here and there. Let's see where it comes out though, because it is a very painful pit lane around here. You lose so much time for pitting more than once in this race, and unfortunately for Katie, he's dropped down into 14th, 15th position. The only good thing for Katie at this moment in time is Tory is scoring 15 points, and that's not the good thing. However, what is the good thing that, for Katie is that he's still going to lead the championship, so it's still advantage KD, and Tory is not taking advantage, and he is trying to get past the very fast Vessia and Riley then, which just shows the seats. Yeah, the top 3 have had the advantage over the rest of the field, but at the same time then, it has not been a big advantage, because then we've got Riley and Vessia very much mixed up in terms of Grand Prix wins, and you've also got Reflection as well, who is also going to be involved in this battle as well. He's 2.5 seconds back at the moment. And I've got to say, I think that Riley is going to be under the cosh going into turn 1 now. Then this is where it's going to get very interesting indeed. Then Pot Stuff is now 8 seconds up the road then. And just watching Tori, as Tori is very much in the heart of this battle. But then here comes Tori. Then can he go for it this time? He hasn't looked then first. He's got a very slippery car. But through Tori goes in third position then. And of course he already had that position in terms of race time, because Vesser of course had a 10-second penalty for his troubles. Reflection is still coming out there, but he's only gained a couple of tenths of a second in the last intermediate split time. So I think that the medium tires are starting to struggle at this stage of proceedings, and Venom has got a 3-second penalty, unfortunately. Smithfield Mighty still using those medium tires to great effect, and now into 9th position there. Camera Racer in 10th. The Real Thing is 12 seconds down the road there. The Real Thing will be hoping for some kind of drama later on in this race to potentially get up a few positions there. And look at this, and as Tori is now starting to put some pressure on Riley. Second position, as I mentioned a few laps ago, then is probably the minimum that is probably the maximum that Tori can get tonight then, but those points could be crucial in the outcome of this race. Pot Stuff Masterclass, says Mushroom. Absolutely, he's been superb. Through goes I Have No Grip there. It's Vestia now. I'm not sure if he's letting him by there or if he just wants a slingshot for DRS there. But now that Vestia has now Vestia's lost out, I think Tori's now got to be concerned about I Have No Grip again, because I Have No Grip has got no penalties. And look at the slipstream here on the start-finish straight, going down into turn 1 as Tori, he's going for it. But again, Riley there braking so much later. Last of the late breakers of the Mercedes driver. And Jenner getting past Dynamo Dan. Dynamo Dan is long course for a great number of points there. Here comes Tori then through Curva Grande here. And, well, he's gaining, but it's not enough. I don't think he needed a bit more deployment, but you can see on board with the steering wheel, he is almost out of deployment, is Tori, isn't he? Goodness me, it's pressure now for Tori, because as Katie has got the fast lap then, and I think that that might be something to salvage in this very difficult race for the championship leader, unfortunately. It'll be interesting now how Katie bounces back in next week's Grand Prix, which is of course the mystery Grand Prix, where we spin the wheel, or do we do a vote then? I'm not sure what we're doing, but because of course last time we did the wheel, we had about 50 YouTube, we had some votes with a lot of different YouTube accounts there, which doesn't make any sense to me, does it? Anyway, here comes and look, Stars has got the fast lap as well. That Katie's got to get harvest and go again, and on the outside there goes I Have No Grip there. And look at that, look at the background, that is the Ferrari. What's happened? There's a Williams off the circuit. Oh, it's Camera Racer. Oh no, and Camera Racer is driving superbly well. And unfortunately, that is going to be costly for Camera Racer. And that could potentially has ended his chance of points there. Unfortunately for Camera Racer, as we go down into the stop of the chicane and the opening chicane, and Pot Stuff is about 10 seconds up the road. He's already in the Dalle Roger chicane. Tori, who is now further back then, yellow flag then, as we got Vessia, who's trying to go on the outside of I Have No Grip then. As I Have No Grip there, I was probably looking more in his wing mirrors, and Cameron's got a 10-second penalty. That's going to be frustration for Cameron, unfortunately. That is such a shame. Chlorine pilots out the Grand Prix. Camera Racer out of the race, well, that's on second retirement in this one. Whoa, who's that? That's a No Grip, he's off the circuit. Oh, goodness me, the No Grip. Did he make a mistake in the first of two Lesbos? Potentially, and Jitter's not going to be all over him like a bad suit, unfortunately. As Tori has got a second advantage now, and I'm wondering if Tori might go for broke here in this one. My goodness gracious me. That's Serious Mushroom Stead. It's been a masterclass for Pot Stuff. Pot Stuff is going to win his third race of the season. It's been a superb race from lights to checkered flag. He wins the Italian Grand Prix. Fantastic there for Pot Stuff. Really well done indeed. Where is Tori going to finish? He's so close to the back of Riley, but Riley will finish second today. Great job from Riley. Fantastic 7D. Reflections gets his way up to fourth position as well. Great drive there from Reflections. But Pot Stuff win number 3 of the season there for Pot Stuff. And in terms of his, and that's his 6th win of his career. So he's doubled his wing tally this season for Pot Stuff. I did say he might have been a bit behind the 8 ball in terms of the Drivers' Championship. But even so, it's never over until it's over. And Pot Stuff there is certainly going to give a good fist of things. It's a Grand Prix winner in Italy, a dominating performance in Italy as well. That was class stuff indeed there for Pot Stuff. He might have no grip. GG Pot Stuff. Yes, says Pot Stuff as well. As Kiki gets the pass on Bruce. Did Jenna retire? I wasn't looking. Oh, goodness me. Where? I'm not sure if Jenna retired or not, so I think he crossed the line, potentially. I'm going to have to get the magnifying glass out, I think, for the results. But Pot Stuff, winner of the Italian Grand Prix. Yes, you've done it. Fists in the air for Pot Stuff. The six-time Grand Prix winner is Pot Stuff. And whilst KD falters in the Drivers' Championship, falters in the race today, and Tori getting further in as well, Pot Stuff might be able to gate crash that head-to-head championship battle. Most rotates was far with Kiki getting fast enough for the race. Driver of the day goes to Reflections. I do not disagree with that whatsoever. Pot Stuff, sixth win of his career. Riley finished second today with Tori in third position there. Great drive from Tori as well, actually, from 12th to 3rd. With Reflections from 13th to 4th there. I have no grip. Would have been on the podium today, but 5th finished in the end there for I have no grip. Dynamo Dan once again from 18th to 6th. I changed my mind. Great drive from Dynamo Dan. Smithfield Mighty's said for that 10-second penalty for Fletcher. He's going to be kicking himself because that is such a shame that Fletcher. He's lost a lot of points there. The Real Fig in 9th there, and Knowlesy in 10th position. I think the Jenner's in the points there somewhere, but unfortunately we don't know. Slofford and KD down in 12th, and no points at all for KD. That is the first time that KD has not scored any points at all this season. 5th, Kiki passes out with Devo Croc, Styles, Ruthless Venom. Not sure if Jenner finished or not. I think he did actually, according to that time there. Camera Racer out of the race, and Chlorine Pilot also out of the race as well, unfortunately. And Dynamo Dan in the comment section, yes, he gets my vote for driver of the day. I'm not sure if it means a lot or not, but even so, that's a superb result indeed there for Dynamo Dan. Congratulations indeed. Oh, well, that was entertaining. Listen, to say the least, fantastic indeed. Tomorrow night, then, it is going to be bronze action. Then, of course, so bronze will be. What is the championship like in bronze? I hear I said it's a 16-point lead between R2B and the Huff, Tom Huffy, who is really coming at R2B, albeit. I think Huffy didn't get pole position last week there, so a bit of his armor has been chinked, so to speak, in bronze. So that's going to be interesting. Is Jay Hings in the championship fight still? It's a massive 74 points now, but bronze does have 30 points for a Grand Prix win, so it's not over just yet, is it? Who am I talking about? Goodness me, for Jay Hings, but let's see how that one transpires. I did finish. Where did you finish, Jenna? So I could put it on my notes. Did you finish 7th or 8th? Or 6th? To be honest, I should just go back and watch the stream, really, shouldn't I? But there you go, and all that kind of good stuff, indeed. Whew. Well, that was a fun race, wasn't it? Next week, of course, next time I'm going to be broadcasting, it's going to be the Wheel of Misfortune or Wheel of Fortune. So I'm not sure if we're going to do the voting like we did earlier on this season, or if we're going to be doing the Wheel of Fortune, or if we're going to be doing a Discord vote. Then there's a couple of options then for the admins out for Smithy, Firefly, Nosey, and Kiki to have a ponder about next week. So we're keeping an eye on that then. But to be honest, it's going to be a surprise to me when I launch the stream next week. So I cannot wait. Fantastic stuff indeed. I don't think anyone's coming into the commentary box, So I think that's going to be it for me. Which well, it's 20 to 9 then. So fantastic indeed. I'm going to go use the facilities and then find a YouTube channel. Well, before I do, I have also got to do some maintenance on my body. Take that what you will. I'm going then. Fantastic 70. Congratulations to Pot Stuff. Win number 6 of his career. And this championship, is it back on for Pot Stuff? Absolutely. Do not listen to what I said in qualifying because I know nothing about this. And also as well, Tori got third position today. Edited to KD's advantage ever so slightly. And KD first race of the season, he didn't score any points out. I'm going to love you and leave you all. Thank you very much. I'll see you next Monday night. Goodbye.